Hi, welcome to the first official episode of the Redhead Podcast. I am so excited to be starting this. I'm so excited that you're listening. I'm just excited. So I just want to welcome everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So this is the Redhead Podcast, and I am your host. My name is Alexa Suko. Just a little bit about myself. I go to Rutgers University. I'm about to turn 21, so that's exciting. I grew up in the Chicago suburbs and now live in Jersey where I go to school. And you'll learn more about me as we go on, but that's just a little blurb for now. If you want to follow us on any social media, I just wanted to kind of plug them up front and get them out of the way. So our handle on both Twitter and Instagram is Redhead Pod, so REDHEADPOD. So go ahead and go follow us there. We don't have many posts yet, but feel free to comment or tweet us or DM or any of that. Just send us your love if you want to. And also just letting you know that there is our email. If you want to email in anything, it is redheadpodcast, how that would be spelled, at gmail.com. So all that out of the way, a little bit of the just little details. So you might be sitting there asking, what even is the Redhead Podcast? What is this all about? So I was kind of thinking of what to name this podcast. I wasn't really sure. And I just came back to the idea that, one, I'm literally redheaded and I could be figuratively redheaded. So I figured to name it that. Basically, I have now had my hair dyed red for almost 3 years. I've had my hair dyed pretty much every color, but red just feels like it's me. It feels like me. I get really bored when I have my natural brownish hair. I get bored when I have blonde hair. So yeah, red just feels like it's out there and it's here and it looks great, and it kind of is ever changing every time I shower. I feel like it's a different hue of red. But yeah, so the other figurative reason I'm a redhead is because I have a lot of feelings and opinions on a lot of different issues, okay? And you might be like, yeah, everyone has opinions and feelings, but I can be a little intense sometimes. I'm never shameful of anyone else's opinions, but I have very strong ones. It takes a lot to change my mind on things. And my opinions are my opinions. They've come from living 20, almost 21 years on this earth. And I really feel like, I don't know, a lot of people tell me like I have mature opinions, and I don't really know if that's accurate, but I just really find it important to develop opinions and have ideas about things, be a critical thinker, and not that you necessarily have an answer to everything, but I think when you can find your own ideas about things, you just know yourself as a person better. And it's also just interesting to hear opinions, to share opinions. I love talking to people who have a completely different experience than I have. I know I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, as I mentioned, and I, for the most part, had white friends, and that changed a little bit in high school, but I didn't feel like I was really meeting people that were that different from me. And in college, I've just met so many interesting people that we have common areas of interest and we have common things in our lives, but for the most part, I enjoy having friends that are different than me. I feel like it expands my mind. I feel like it just challenges my thinking. I often will kind of check myself. I'm a person who has white privilege. I grew up very, very privileged in a lot of ways, and I think my ideas had a lot to do with that. And I think the more and more I get to know more people and know their experiences, I'm more likely to have an opinion that is just more in favor of them. Obviously, when white people are in charge of America, this is what happens. I think everyone is aware of, all the problems when it comes to one race of people governing. Like, they just don't often have the amount of empathy it takes to really make laws and policies that affects everyone. I'm not trying to get too political, but I think you know what I'm saying. I've been changing my opinions on things and all of that quite a lot in the past few years. Just on that, what we're going to be talking about, not really politics. It's not my area of expertise. I have opinions, but I probably shouldn't be doing a podcast on politics, so I'm not going to. What I do feel like I'm kind of an expert on is interpersonal relationships. So really just how we treat ourselves and also each other. Topics like friendship, relationships, self-love, sexuality, mental health, all of that. I personally have a lot of ties to all these topics. I'm currently in therapy for mental health issues that I will talk about a little later. I have struggled with a lot of issues and a lot of failed friendships, weird relationships. I'm on the journey of finding self-love. Sexuality is a big thing. So as much as these are all topics that are personal to me, and I will do, of course, other topics as I continue on with the series, but I really want to also say that I will be having guests on this podcast. I really don't believe in, me just sitting here telling you my opinions about things, because I have one opinion. I have a very specific opinion. As I mentioned, I've lived a pretty privileged life in a lot of ways, and I don't want to ever come off like I think I'm right, or I think that my opinion is the most valid. So I really want to bring guests on. I'm going to have some friends, some just acquaintances, specifically talking about things like sexuality, relationships, mental health. I want to have representation. With sexuality, I'd love to have someone with a different sexuality than me. Someone, for relationships, someone that has had completely different relationships than I have. Maybe someone who's never had relationships. For mental health, someone that has different mental health issues than I. I don't know. I don't ever cover these topics and feel like I'm not at least showing a little bit of dynamic to what they mean and how they can affect people. And on that, I'd love for you to reach out to us and let us know if I mentioned there's a future topic coming up. Feel free to send in your stories or just comments in general. I'd love to hear your opinions and maybe things we should mention. Maybe something's going on in the world that relates to that topic. Just hot topics we might just bring up a little bit, maybe talk a little bit about that. I would love to hear you guys' stories and testimonies. That we would definitely love to try to incorporate you guys and your experiences into our podcast. And in the future, we might even do some, Q&A type podcast or advice podcast. So if the platform you're listening to this on has comments enabled, then definitely leave some comments. If you want to tweet us, if you want to DM any of that, again, sending emails, definitely let us know any way you want. Just let us know what you want. We're making this for you. You're our listeners. We want to make a show that you will love. So definitely let us know what you want to hear, and we will try our best to cover those topics and feature you guys in any way we can. So I know this has been kind of a shorter episode, But I just wanted to kind of get the introduction, describing what this podcast is exactly going to be. And I didn't really want to jump into content yet, just because I wanted, to let everyone know what this is all about, what's in store. I am so happy to be starting this. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you're excited for, I know I keep saying the word excited, but I think that's just the way I'm feeling. I just hope you're, looking forward to what we're going to be doing. And I'm really happy that all of you are listening, and make sure to follow us. Let us know if you have any feelings or comments. We would love to hear your opinions. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see you next week. We're aiming for Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern as our time. So that's probably going to be it. So look forward to next Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, have a great week. Goodbye, everybody.